So why do share prices rise and fall? Let's pretend you're a business owner. You spent the last 5 years starting and growing your business. And now, after a lot of hard work, you're finally successful. And now it's time to expand. But how do you do that? You're gonna need a lot of money. And you might not want to go to the banks because they're going to charge you interest. What you can do instead is sell part of your ownership in your company to the public. You're going to create, let's say, 1,000 little pieces of ownership, each of them representing 1,000th of your company. You're going to sell 400 or 40% to the public and keep the other 600 or 60% for yourself. That way, you stay in control of the decisions, but you still get money. It's called an initial public offering because it's the first time that a private company becomes available for ownership to the public. The company will sell shares to people, take the money and use it to expand or to grow or for whatever they want really. So why do share prices rise and fall? The price depends on a very simple law called supply and demand. After the initial public offering, the people that you sold those shares to can sell them to each other. When people think a company is doing well or going to do well, the demand goes up, which means the price goes up. And when people think a company is going to do badly or is doing badly, the demand goes down and the supply stays the same, so the price goes down. And that's basically why share prices move, with a few complications. There's a few other things that can move company shares. Remember how we talked about demand and supply? Well, the company can do something to change the supply of shares. It's called a share buyback. So when you sold those 400 shares to the public, maybe a year later you decide you have a lot of money, you've been very successful, and you want to buy 100 of them back. Suddenly there's only 300 shares left in the market. So the supply has decreased. And that will make the price rise because each remaining share needs to make up for the shares that you bought back. It used to be illegal to do this actually, but since the 1980s, companies have been allowed to buy their own shares. And a share buyback reliably will make a price go up. Not always, but usually. So how can you use this to make your own investment decisions? Whenever a piece of news happens that impacts a company you're invested in, just keep in mind, how is it going to affect the demand or the supply? A very common example is quarterly earnings. Public companies have to report how much money they're making 4 times a year. And when they report that, they also talk about things like how much money they think they're going to make for the rest of the year. So if a company that you're invested in is reporting earnings, you can imagine that that's going to impact the demand for shares because other investors are also paying attention to this news. Every time something happens, keep demand and supply in your head. And that way, you'll always make an informed investment decision. So now you know what shares are and why they rise and fall. Next up, we're going to talk about investors' 2 favorite animals, the bull and the bear. Thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.